Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that we link with a summer transfer and move to Arsenal. Of course, we are looking forward to the big one tonight. England playing Scotland in the Euros. The Euros continue. And Kieran Tierney, we get to see hopefully him play today. He was injured for the last game, something we know a lot about Arsenal. But Kieran Tierney should figure in that. Could Saka get a run out for England? Who knows? But looking forward to that game later on. I'm really enjoying the Euros, really enjoying looking at some of the players in the Euros. One player, I've been doing my little scouting, yeah? One player I was looking at yesterday, I'm like, come on, Arsenal, man. He'd be perfect. You know, Marcel Sabitzer of Austria, RB Leipzig, he's available. You know, the fee's not that big either because his contract's running down. He's experienced, he's creative. He just looks a player, and he's a bit of a leader on the pitch as well. You can see that for his team, even though they lost yesterday. And I, for one, don't understand why Arsenal are not scouting him. I mean, listen, he may want to go to a club that's going to have Champions League football. He's that good. He's coming from RB Leipzig, where he's played a lot of Champions League football. But honestly, I was looking at him and in the previous game, and I'm like, perfect for Arsenal's midfield. One player that it definitely looks like Arsenal, they are hot for this guy right now, because it does look like Arsenal. When I'm kind of assessing things at the moment, I put in a couple of calls as well, and it does look like Arsenal are looking to make a couple of signings in the next couple of weeks. You know, their signings are incoming. I spoke about it. We did a preview the other day when the fixture list came out, and I spoke about it on that show. And I said that, you know, when you look at the fixtures that Arsenal have, particularly the fixtures in August, the first three fixtures, they are difficult. Going away to Brentford on the first day of the season, you know, playing a newly promoted team in a brand new stadium with their fans, you know, the biggest game probably they've had for years and years and years. It's going to be like a cup final. That's going to be a difficult game. The second game against Chelsea at home, you know, European champions, that's going to be a difficult game. And in the third game, away against Manchester City, when was the last time we won there? We know those three games are going to be really tough. It does look like Arsenal now, you know, Mikel Arteta, he's looking at him thinking, we got to get off to a good start, and we got to get our players in place early, and that's a good sign. And I'm glad he's thinking like that. One of the first signings he's looking to make is Ben White. We've spoken about this one extensively. We know that Arsenal put in a bid of £40 million. That reported fee of 50 million, that's long gone. £40 million Arsenal put in, and Brighton have rejected that, we know. But I am told that Arsenal are going back in with another bid. They're going to up that bid, and they're going to keep going really to as near as that 50 million as they can until they get their man. Ben White, as we know has broken into the England team. There are a lot of suitors for him. I remember speaking to my mate, who's a big Leeds fan, saying that, you know, when he was at Leeds, when they were in the Championship, he's absolutely brilliant. He was excellent at Brighton last year, and he's broken into the England squad and, you know, future England player, considered one of the best centre-backs in England. It's going to be really interesting to see how Brighton deal with this one, how high they're going to, you know, demand, you know, to that 50 million that they're looking for. But this is looking to be one of those signings that will be incoming over the next couple of weeks, unless Brighton get ridiculous with it. And Ben White will be on his way to Arsenal. I know we've spoken about it multiple times, and I've asked you guys what you thought about it. You know, the fact that, you know, we've got William Saliba. You know, we've got William Saliba. He's hardly figured for Arsenal. The talk is that Arsenal are, you know, and Mikel Arteta is up for selling him. You know, he's up for selling. You know what? It's kind of mixed, because there's talk on one aspect that Mikel Arteta's up for selling him. Arsenal are listening. You know, I've put it out there and said, you know, they will listen to offers for Saliba. Remember, they paid a lot of money for him, £27 million. So they're going to want to get that back. They've been approached about loan moves for William Saliba. They've turned all those down. They said, no, if we're moving him on, we want money. We want him to be sold, or we want to get money for him, right? So could Saliba be sold, or is Saliba going to be staying as part of the setup? Will Saliba be happy with that? The guy wants to play. The talk is that he'd like to go back to Nice, where he had a really good end of the season when he went there in January. So going to be really interesting to see what happens with William Saliba, because it's looking almost inevitable that Ben White's going to come in. I mean, Ben White deal can get scuppered if somebody else comes and blows Arsenal out of the water, but he seems to be the number one target, and Arsenal are looking to get it done early. The player that it does look like they're definitely going to sell is going to be Mavropanos. Mavropanos, of course, went out on loan to Stuttgart last season. He did very, very well on that loan. He's still only 23. Remember, he's one of those players who's brought in by Sven Mislintat, identified by him. And as I said, did very, very well over there in Germany. Stuttgart want him back. They want him on a permanent deal. I think they wanted him back on loan again, but Arsenal said, no, permanent deal only. And it looks like Stuttgart are willing to do a deal for him, and that he could go for around about £7 million. Not a lot. It's not a lot, but it goes towards, the big fees that seem to be looking like going to be spent this summer on certain players. But yeah, it does look like Mavropanos will be on his way out. Again, a guy who's gone out on loan and done well. And I wouldn't have minded to see what he could have done in the Premier League, but Arsenal got their heart. Mikel Arteta's got his heart set on Ben White. He's also the other signing that it definitely looks it's going to happen is this one for Albert Sambi Lokonga, the 21-year-old midfielder, plays for Anderlecht. We know that Arsenal had a bid for him rejected around about just over £13 million. Anderlecht looking nearer the £17 million mark. I'm being told that this one is going to get done very soon. What does that mean? Does that mean no Basuma? Because he's a similar type of player, a lot younger, but being told, that this one is one that's close to being done. And again, another deal that could be wrapped up, within the next couple of weeks. And also looking to get busy in the transfer market, which is good. It's great. I'd love to see Basuma. Basuma's the £40 million player, but it looks like Arsenal would rather, and Mikel Arteta would rather invest that money in a centre back. Listen, you got a build from the back, but you've also got to look after the spine. But then this guy, Albert Sambi Lokonga, could be the answer. We don't know. We don't know until he arrives. Aaron Ramsdale I spoke about on the show yesterday. Now, when I spoke about Ramsdale yesterday, we was trying to think about fees, and we thinking around about 24 million. Sheffield United are saying, hey, hold on a minute, Arsenal. We want £40 million for Aaron Ramsdale. 40 million. They're having a laugh. £40 million for Aaron Ramsdale. I'll be honest with you, I'm not his biggest fan. I've seen him make so many mistakes in games. Listen, at times, and he had a lot to do last season, at times he pulls off some brilliant saves. But I'm not convinced that he's better than Leno. That's the thing about it. I guess he's a lot younger, because Leno's 29 now, but in goalkeeping terms, 29 is not even that old necessarily, So I'm not. I don't know, man. Aaron Ramsdale, 40 million. I mean, to me, 20 million is about the right sort of price. Listen, you're going to have to pay more money because he's an English player, but I'm not overly convinced. But Arsenal said to be interested in him. They're interested today in this guy. His name's called Jesus Corona, or Jesus Corona, it could be pronounced. He's a Mexican who plays for Porto, 28 years now. Now, he sort of plays on the right-hand side. He can play as a right winger. He can also play as a right back. Very experienced player. Had a good season last year for Porto. 13 assists in 48 appearances. Now, lots of clubs looking at him. Sevilla are interested in him. Fiorentina are interested in him. And Arsenal. We know that Arsenal have a problem, especially at right back. We know that from seeing Mikel Arteta, he wants to play in a particular style, sometimes with wing backs flying down the wings. And this guy would fit that perfectly. Now, he's got a release clause of £21.4 million. And there's a lot of talk that Arsenal are considering triggering that. As I said, other clubs are interested in him as well. But Arsenal considering triggering that release clause. And we know that Arsenal are still in the hunt for a right back. And yeah, so let's keep an eye and see how this one develops out. Jesus Corona. I already see all the jokes coming in about the name, right? But Jesus Corona. And yeah, he's been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal today. This morning, I was sitting there saying, you know, obviously, love the fact that Arsenal are trying to make moves early in the market. Looks like maybe what they might be sort of gambling on is doing a lot of moves early, outlaying the money, because there was someone I was talking to yesterday and he's going, Robbie, does look like Stan's going to dig his hand into his pocket. And I'm like, hey, slow down. I also feel that lots of players are going to go. But whereas I think last season, they tried to get rid of a load of players first, then get players, and then we saw last minute things like, you know, Partey coming in at the last minute when we needed him a lot earlier and he didn't really have a proper pre-season and stuff like that. I think they're doing it in the other way this year. I think it's like, get the players we need early, then after that we'll try and sell off some of the players we want to get rid of. And it's an extensive list. I've got a list there right now, right? And I was looking at it. Xhaka, Bellerin, Saliba possibly, Nketiah, Reece Nelson, Guendouzi, Willian, Kolasinac, Torreira, Maitland-Niles, Willock, a possibility, El Neni, a possibility. Now, I don't think they'll sell all of those, but I think they're looking probably to sell the majority of those. I'd say the only ones that possibly might survive the cull there would be possibly El Neni. There's talk that Arsenal are going to sit down with El Neni about a new contract, and we all know he's a good squad player. There are a lot of teams in Turkey, though, that are interested in him. Willock, they may possibly hold on to. However, if they're outlaying big amounts of money on Ben White, maybe, you know, a big windfall for Willock might pay for that, you know. And then, of course, Saliba, that's the one. And again, I think I've got this feeling they'll move Saliba on. So a lot of players are going to be leaving. It's going to be a completely different looking Arsenal, I feel, going into next season. There's going to be so many players that have played for us. And if you add into that the players that we got rid of, you know, sort of January and stuff like that, Mustafi and Ozil and that, we're finally starting to see a brand new Arsenal. You know, that sort of saying when people say, well, I want to see what Mikel Arteta's team is. I think we're going to see that next season. And that's why next season is going to be huge for him. He's going to have to deliver. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to check out AFTV News Daily tonight. Tomorrow, I'm going to be coming live with AFTV Transfer Daily. Going to be live around about 11 o'clock tomorrow, right? So join me. We'll be discussing transfers live here tomorrow. We'd love to get your guys' input on what's the you've seen of the movements. Don't forget to get over onto the Don Robbie channel. On the channel, we've been covering all the Euro games. It's been brilliant for the England game tonight. You've got to join us. And don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV, like this video, and leave a comment. I'm loving to hear your comments and can't wait to interact with you guys tomorrow live on the show. Thanks for watching the show, and we will be back tomorrow.